Minister, I can assure you that the recipe of Canada is not patented, so you can use it anytime. And anytime you can use that recipe, and we'll be very pleased to share with you the recipe. Now, the last speaker of this session, very important session, is Senator Bala Mohammed, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory. And again, Minister, as fast as you can speak, the better it is. I'm sorry about that. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, Your Excellency, the Chairman of our dear party, Your Excellencies, the governors here present, my colleagues, members of the Federal Executive Council, other distinguished Nigerians, good afternoon. I'm highly to be here to present a paper on investment opportunities in Africa's fastest growing city. I am most grateful to my mentor, my boss, the Ambassador of Nigeria in Canada, Chief Ojoma Duike, for giving us this opportunity, and of course also to the government and people of Nigeria. I have a presentation and I discovered that it is going to be delivered in 15 minutes. It is a very voluminous one, but I will try and summarize in the time allotted. I have a presentation that I would want somebody to help me flip through as I'm going through because of the summary nature of the presentation. It has an outline, and it will capture the vision, strategic development, infrastructure development, investment opportunities, and so on and so forth. In the introduction, we try to tell you what Abuja is, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria, which was created in 1976 with 8,000 square kilometers and with an embedded federal capital city of 250 square kilometers. It was moved from Lagos to Abuja. The fact sheets contain all the details of what the city is. It has 6 area councils with a 5 million population, 70% illiteracy level, with a lush vegetation, good weather, and a GDP of about $5 billion. The mission is to create the best capital in the year 2020, and of course with a sound institutional framework, provision of infrastructure, services, and as one of the best cities in the world in the year 2020. Through that, we have a mandate providing an effective administrative framework, providing critical infrastructure, services to the residents, and of course reduction of poverty and wealth creation, and also the provision of safety and security. The demographics of the FCT, it has 84.8% people living above with $2 a day, a working population of 36.2%, student population of 32%, and of course a private sector-driven economy in terms of employment of 81%. It has a growing middle class, and access to healthcare is there, you can see in the map, with the area council and other clusters in the city. Since the coming of this administration, we developed a strategic development plan that is in trying to actualize being one of the world 20 plus economy in year 2020. We are to provide an effective, efficient administrative framework, provision of critical infrastructure, provision of services to the FCT residents, wealth creation, and of course, as I said, safety and security. We have diversified these strategies in translating the transformation agenda by making sure that we have some key policies and projects and programs that will make us actualize the national implementation plan as explained by the National Planning Minister. Also providing regulations, infrastructural climate, investment climate, with a view to creating the global hub that we want Abuja to have in terms of airport development, multimodal transportation, infrastructure, tourism, banking, commerce, and direct foreign investment, with a view to improving the quality of life. The medium-term sector strategies in the city or in the Federal Capital Territory is to develop a multimodal infrastructure development with continued compliance with the Abuja Master Plan, development control standards, and with a view to making sure that illegal structures and what have you that will constitute an encroachment are eliminated. That is building institutions as explained by the Minister of Trade. We are also to provide the provision of affordable housing, develop tourism potential, enhancing enabling environment for industries to grow, and strengthening existing institutions in terms of reform in the Federal Capital Territory so that we can drive the growth and development of the city. Our infrastructure investment climate is our core. Responsibility is that of the government, but we want to leverage on the private sector finance and the expertise with a view to making sure that we free some capital that we have as a government so that we can do other more pressing issues, services in the area of health and education. And we want to discourage land speculation with a view to enhancing the integrity of our land administration. We will also continue to abide by the master plan, making sure that we go by the rules, and therefore our need to enforce regulations and making sure that interrelationship between personal development and institutional development are also given some kind of connectivity. The master plan of Abuja provides for 2 levels of development, namely the city and the regional. And in the regional, we have the satellite towns and so on and so forth, and other clusters that will be explained later. Sorry. The Abuja Master Plan provides for 83 districts and sector areas. You can see it explained there. Districts completed, substantially completed, and those ongoing. At the moment, we have only developed about 11 districts and 7 sector areas. So we have about 73 districts that can be developed by the private sector or by the government. Why do you come to Abuja? Because of its strategic location within Nigeria, with an efficient interstate and national transportation link, access point to vast domestic population, 160 million, and a regional market of 300 million, an international airport that serves all the major airlines of the world, and domestic flights to all the cities of Africa and Nigeria in terms of connectivity. It has a planned city in terms of master plan. It has a sound and established legal framework for making sure that investment are protected. And we have the lowest crime rate in the country. The master plan prepared and approved by the government, the ultimate population of the city is by now supposed to be 3 million, but we are almost passing the region of 5 million because of the demographics. We have given you the phase development. The city is in phases 1, 2, 3, up to 5. We have just developed phase 1, moving into phase 2 and phase 3. The district opportunities are there on the next slide on page 17. And you can see the graphic percentage of district infrastructure developed in the Federal Capital Territory, with the green being developed, the maroon underdevelopment, and then the red underdeveloped. We have so many clusters in the city. We have the Bluebird, B8, B12, about 14 kilometers that carry a dual carriageway from the airport to the city on 10 lane. And of course, it is supposed to be connected and reticulate to all the parts of the city. Some of the areas of opportunities that we have is to develop similar roads. We call it FCT Highway 105 Road. It is on 73-kilometer dual carriageway from Kubwa Expressway to Gwagwalada. It has 5 number underpasses, 14 number river bridges, 2 number interchanges, earthworks, and so on and so forth. You can see the beautiful road that we have developed in the city during the time of His Excellency Mr. President from 2010 to date. It is on 10 lane, and we intend to develop other roads along this line with the private sector collaboration in the form of PPP. Another road that can be done through the same way is the FCT 106 road. It carries a carriageway from Kashi to Gwagwalada, and it is on 50 kilometers. Other PPPs that are there, which we have started, is the Katampe district, that we have leveraged on private sector financing to get 61 billion naira, and also other PPPs to develop similar districts in Mobushi, Gwarimpa, and Durmi. These initiatives have gone very far in conjunction with ICRC, that is the Infrastructure Concession and Regulatory Agency, with a view to getting expression of interest, return of proposals, and of course, even the business case have been completed. We have also developed the land swap model. The Minister of Investment has spoken on the concept of the city that we are building in Abuja, called the Millennium City. It is going to be developed in the framework within the concept of land swap, which is an infrastructural financing initiative of the FCT, whereby land is given as a resource to a developer to provide infrastructure in a grid district without any financial, technical, or demand risk on the part of the FCT. Under this model, the FCT administration grants a developer an agreed percentage of land, sometimes exceeding 60% in the greenfield district, for real property development. Private sector enabled projects initiated provision of in 2 centers of the district, about 8 districts along this line, and it is going to cover about 4,283 hectares, and with the addition of the Millennium City, it is going to about 5,000 hectares of land, and it will generate about $3.8 billion. So I'm calling on investors from Canada to come and take districts and develop it along with us, because we intend to protect their own investment. They will take the district 60% of it, and we are ready even to be flexible in terms of making sure that whatever is the cost of the primary infrastructure that will be provided will definitely determine the percentage that the investor will take. The 15 investors, in collaboration with Federal Capital Territory, are working on the topography, survey maps, detailed land plan and uses, and then engineering design. That I would say, right from the onset, the investors paid 350 million naira each, with which we are going to use to do all these preliminary designs, survey maps, and so on and so forth, since we are not going to encumber the project through the normal budgetary provisions. In that way, the investor will provide all the roads, water, electricity, sewage, and other ancillary services. That each of the 15 investors is given the right by FCT to sell, develop, or partner with other private sector in the comprehensive development of the districts. We have already done the groundbreaking ceremony of the first district that is done through this framework. It is called the Caraway district, named after the mayor, the past black mayor of Dallas City of the United States, who visited us during the last inauguration. And it is done with Palazora Realty Property Company. I saw the investor here is going to develop 220 hectares and is injecting about $200 million. At the end of the day, he would have been able to provide infrastructure for the district, and he will take more than 60% of the land, and he can even invest other secondary investors in terms of the development of the mixed-use development that we want to bring into the district. Investment opportunity for secondary investors in the land swap. We have other areas, as I said, for investment. After the initial investor must have provided the primary infrastructure in the area of shopping malls, secondary healthcare facilities, primary schools, secondary school, hotels, parks and recreation, and so on and so forth. Other areas where we are developing partnership with the private sector include the Abuja City Center development, where we are developing, we have to develop a downtown in the city, because at the moment it is a city without a life. And we are doing this through by making sure that we provide land in the central business district of Abuja, where we are going to have memorial arcades, shopping malls, residential apartments, office spaces, hotels, and so on. If you go to London, you will go to Oxford Street. I hear that here in Toronto, you have the Front Street, which is the central business area of the city. We want to recreate something in the FCT, and we're leveraging on the private sector. We have already signed an agreement, and he's going to inject $1.5 billion. Already, work has gone very far to make sure this. With this, there are other prime or secondary investments that will come along with it. We are developing the monorail in the city, and fortunately, the first company that approached us is Transglobin Incorporated, a Canadian company that will take people from a certain portion of the city, from Masaka to the city, from the central business district. In fact, this is to accentuate what we are doing in terms of the development of the multimodal transportation system. The Abuja Mass Transit, which is on lots 1, 2, up to 6. At the moment, we have only done lot 1, 2, and 3, and the conceptual design was even done by the Canadian company. The Abuja Mass Transit is envisaged to provide 300 kilometers of mass transit road, and it will carry about 437,000 passengers at the end of the day. It will have about 15 stations along the rail, and it will create huge opportunities for investment in terms of tourism, transportation, and so on and so forth. Satellite towns are there. They are created. We have about 10 of them. Buhari, Kubwa, they are all enumerated. They also require district infrastructure, regional road projects, rural road projects, electrification, and so on and so forth. We want to leverage on the private sector to do that, although the government has started. You can see the explanation of what it is in the next slide. In the educational sector, we have improved the access to education, but we want to reduce capital flight, create more educational clusters and facilities in the city, because the city is growing, the demographics and the GDP is favorable to making investment in education from primary to tertiary level. We have over 5 universities right away, and in the increase. We want people to come and take opportunity of that so that we can reduce the deficit in terms of that, in educational facilities. Healthcare facilities too, we have 216 PSCs, 12 secondary health cares and other facilities, but we need people to come and establish more healthcare facilities in the city, because at the moment people travel from Abuja to other parts of the world for secondary healthcare facilities, which we don't have. And of course, with the GDP, as I said, and the level of microeconomic level that we have reached, you'll be able to recoup your investment no matter how much you put. In the area of agriculture, we have facilities, we have clusters where you can come. I know Canada is an agrarian economy. It is all there, maybe embedded in the presentation. You can see it there after. Water supply, Abuja has water supply. At the moment, we generate about 10 million cubic meters of water, and we are on the verge of unleashing about 20 million to enable us to produce water and reticulate it to all the parts of the city. You can see the tanks that we have. We have only developed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 1 to 6 are under construction, and we have some loops. It is very lucrative if you can come, because people need water on a sustainable basis. Now we are rationing water because we cannot produce, refine, and distribute as per requirement. And we can give you opportunity in terms of concessioning to produce water, network it, and then get it. Already we have other facilities, other opportunities in the area of provision of water in Kuje and Karshi. It is all there in the satellite towns. The World Bank has helped us to make the studies, and it is very viable. The waste management area is another area because of the demographics, because of the volume of waste we generate in the city. It is very easy for you to come and leverage on what we have there, collect the waste, even turn them into energy and other uses in the city, since the construction industry needs some of the waste in order to make sure we provide affordable and affordable houses and social housing. Ongoing development of 3 waste transfer stations is already going on, but we need more. And with the private sector, we have about 500 hectares just meant for that kind of investments. Other investment opportunities are there in terms of using the city to create waste to power, waste to energy, biogas, and so on, and organic fertilizer, and so on and so forth. I'm giving you an example of some of the investment we have already attracted, and we want to replicate it in all the parts of the city. Like the Abuja Downtown Hall, we have the World Trade Center that is attracting about $1 billion. It has gone very far. It has gone almost 90%. That's why we want to create the next business destination on the continent. Of course, we are not competing with other economic capitals of the continent, but certainly we have the facilities if you so wish. We have the construction. The construction has gone very far. It is the phase 1 will have 22-floor commercial tower, a 22-floor service apartment tower, 30,000 to 40,000 square meter retail mall, and so on and so forth, and we will have it in phase 2 and 3. Phase 1 is almost completed. You can see the picture there, and you can see the construction where it has gone. It is ongoing. Abuja Technology Village is another cluster that we are creating for it to become Africa's preferred technology research and incubation development center for outsourcing, biotechnology, and ICT, energy, and minerals technology, and so on and so forth. It is there on 220 hectares. Already primary infrastructure have been provided. You can see the various menu of the delivery components that you can do on slide 56 in terms of the real estate, value-added services, human capital mobilization, human capital development, legal and corporate social responsibilities clusters. Abuja Technology Village continues. You can see the kind of thing we want to do in terms of making sure we create mixed-use development and co-commercial areas, entrepreneurs living area, mixed retail centers. All these are free for tech after we do consultation and discussion. In the same manner, we want to create something that akin to Hollywood in the USA by providing Abuja with a film village that is going to create a film cluster with a mixed-use development, not only with studios, but housing and other components for living. Abuja Botanical Garden is also there for you on 720 hectares. Because of the number of people that we have in Abuja, it will recoup your investment, and it is within the close vicinity of the city. What are the benefits? What are the major investing opportunities in the city? You can see it, as I said, the real sector needs to be rediscovered. Be it in agriculture, construction, housing, and so on and so forth. The demographics in Abuja, as explained by the Minister of Investment and National Planning, is said that that is the next business destination. We want to create more jobs and bring investments and make sure that we protect your investment. The housing deficit will really accentuate whatever you want to do in terms of making sure you recoup your investment. We, as a territory, we want to reduce it by 20% and also reduce the cost of rent, because most of the people living in Abuja are middle and lower cadre in terms of social status. So the opportunities are there. One of the major flagship programs that we have is the creation of an industrial park. Already we have discussed with the Turkish, and he is bringing about $200 million. Time will not allow us to give you a small summary of it because we have a presentation, but I understand that my time is off, and the most important thing to say is that we thank you most sincerely for listening. Abuja is the next place to be, and we are not really flattering when we say Mr. President, Mr. Vice President have done much to make sure we provide a level playing field for investments to grow and thrive in such a manner that your investment will be secure and protected. You are most welcome to Abuja, the fastest growing city on the continent. Thank you very much.